Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is your co-host, Kelsey Aida, and I am here with my other co-host, Lindsay Robinson. And basically, we are both here every week to talk to you guys and teach you about how to manifest your best life, how to feel better, how to release resistance, how to raise your vibration in a really authentic, gentle, and genuine way. So today, we kind of thought it would be fun to dive into some manifesting myths and like common, almost like belief traps that we fall into when we start to learn about the law of attraction and manifesting. And these beliefs, they just don't really serve us because they're really not true. So we're going to go through one by one of some of the more popular ones that we've noticed with our clients and with people asking us questions. And hopefully they just help to bring a lot of clarity and to soften any resistance that you're having towards manifesting what you're wanting. So,
Oh,
Lindsay,
yeah.
do you want to say hi?
Hi, guys. I'm a little nervous because my internet's being weird again. So I'm sorry if it comes out bizarre. I'm not an alien. It's just my internet.
Also, she is an alien, and also Mercury is totally in retrograde. So we'll just blame it on that.
Yes, exactly. I like
Okay,
that.
so I have a list here of a bunch of stuff that I wrote down that I feel like are really common manifesting myths or traps. So the first one on here that we can just dive right into is once I get good at manifesting, I'll never be a victim of circumstance again. Which I think is, well, one, when I hear myself say it out loud, it already sounds like ridiculous. But two, it's like, this is not the case. I know a lot of people go into manifesting thinking, oh, when I'm super good, I'll be the ultimate creator of my own reality and no surprises will happen and no curveballs will come in and everything will be good because that's the way I want it to be. And it's like, yeah, you'll have more control over how you experience your life and you will manifest a lot of badass stuff that you want, but nobody is what's the word that I'm looking for?
Immune.
Yes, nobody is immune to bad things happening. Nobody is immune to pain. Nobody is immune to circumstance. Like, that's a part of being human that you already signed up for before you came here,
Yeah.
regardless of how good of a conscious creator you are or not.
Well, and I know it does sound ridiculous when we say it out loud. And everybody listening is gonna be like, well, I don't believe that. Well, of course you don't on a conscious level, but I feel like we all felt that at some point, even if it's like in the background. It's that idea of like, well, when I do this, that's when it gets good, right? When I do this, that's when my struggle's over, right? Like we're constantly working toward these things to make our lives easier. And so on a deeper level, you could equate that to just like, my life's going to be easy and I'm never going to have to worry again. And like you said, we don't come here for an easy life. We come here to feel it all. We come here for the good and the bad and the beautiful and the painful and everything. Like, this is one of the only places that what I heard, I think it was, what's her name? Esther Hicks or Abraham Hicks, that was like, this is like the advanced class. Like when you come to Earth, you come here for the struggle, you come here for the beauty, you come here for it all. And, you chose here. So enjoy it all, but also know that by manifesting and by getting good at manifesting, it's just a way to sweeten the experience and to remember that you've always been powerful. You're just using it intentionally now. You remember that you were.
Yeah, and I do definitely think that it makes your life easier and it makes your life better and more fun, but it's never going to completely eliminate all your problems and all your worries and all your desires and all your woes and all your negative feelings because that's just not what it's here for. The
Yeah.
law of attraction is simply mirroring back to you through outer circumstance, whatever's going on inside of you energetically, emotionally, so really, it was never meant to be something that we like manipulated in order to get our best lives, but we just kind of noticed like, hey, if I feel better, then I can have a better circumstance. Would you look at that? And like, that's totally beneficial and awesome. But just thinking that the law of attraction is going to like save you from being a human is kind of ridiculous. And honestly, it's just going to set you up for disappointment. So we're trying to help you to avoid the disappointment by letting you know that getting good at manifesting is not going to fix your whole life, but it's definitely going to improve it.
Word dog.
Word dog. I love it. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is a good one that Lindsay said a lot of her clients are talking about lately. And I think everyone's felt this at some point or another. So you guys let us know if you can relate. But the belief is if something good happens, AKA I do get what I want and I have manifested my desire, then something bad must be about to happen so that there can be balance, or it's kind of like we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, like this is too good to be true kind of scenario. Lindsay, what do you have to say about this one?
Well, the reason most people feel this way is because they can remember a time in their lives when something really, really good happened and then they were blindsided out of nowhere that felt like in the moment the result of the good thing. So that weird idea that the weird idea we have of balance, like, well, if I'm super successful, then I might get sick, or if I have all the money I want, I could get a divorce, these things that we think about that the only evidence you have is in the past. Okay. So the thing that I would say is you're never the same person that you were yesterday. You're never the same person you were 5 minutes ago. And you can never repeat an experience twice because you're just not the same. Nothing is the same. Circumstances always change. The energy changes. So there's no two experiences that are identical. So that evidence is BS. I know it looks real, but it is BS. So, and it doesn't have to happen that way. I just think that it's so natural for us because in society, that's what we learn. And so it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, or it can be, because if you're looking for it to happen, guess what? That's how powerful you are. It's going to happen. But it doesn't have to. I think if you're just mindful and you stay grateful and you kind of, there's this idea of like, in order for something to happen, you have to accept it as real. And when you're thinking about these negative things that are about to happen because of the good thing, it can hold you back from getting the good thing. But even if you do get it, you're almost accepting that the bad thing is going to happen. And so it does. So
So
I
you
would
don't
just say,
enjoy it.
right. Well, exactly. Or you stop it from happening. Like I will be completely honest with you and tell you, when I saw how much like business and how much success I've seen this year, I got a little excited, scared, but then I also got like actual scared of like what the payment is going to be for me. Like, what am I going to have to do to pay for this amazing success? And I realized something that I didn't know I still held on to at this level, but as they say, the higher you go, the problems will get higher with you as well. Like your thoughts, if you've overcome this limiting belief down here, you might have to overcome it up here as well. And I'm noticing that about myself. But yeah, that's definitely a belief that I didn't know I had. But it's just the idea of like, should I keep doing this? Because then what if something bad happens? I have those thoughts. So yeah, it can definitely hinder. And I immediately like did work to address that and to like help to process it and clear it and accept that it's there. But yeah, it can hinder you or it can just stop it altogether. So I would just say like, one of the biggest things for me was like, you know what? I don't accept that. Like, and it can be just as easy as that, and just reject that idea that something bad must happen. Yeah, because you're kind of like taking back control, where you might not have felt, if something's happening to you, you don't always feel control. But just by saying the words like, you know what, I don't accept that this is my truth. Maybe I felt like it was in the past, but I refuse to accept that it is going to be in the future.
Well, and here's the thing too. If you're always trying to create your future from your past, you're always just going to keep spitting out the same reality. And
Yeah.
you're always going to keep getting what you've always got. And it's not really valid to say that my future looks like my past, because contrast causes expansion. So really your future is always going to look different than your past, unless there's like some lesson that needs to be repeated or something that needs to be healed, and so there's more opportunities that come up for that. But like, other than those two reasons that I can think of, your future should always look different than your past, because it's not the past.
Yeah.
And projecting your
And
past
and
onto your
again,
future is only ever helpful, I find, when you're trying to build confidence in yourself or in your life. So what this looks like
mm-hmm.
is, oh, I've always been able to handle it in the past, so I'll always be able to handle it in the future. I've gotten through all my bad days, so I'll still keep getting through all my bad days. Everything's always worked out for me in the long term, so it's still going to keep working out for me. Like, things that bring you comfort and relief are good to take from the past and project them into the future. But anything other than that, I don't think is helpful to project into the future,
Right.
because you're going to be a different person. Your life is probably going to be different. Change is inevitable. Like, be open to new things. If you're always saying, my future is going to look like my past, then you're not being open. So how can you let in anything new?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, like a lot of my first, if I'm playing devil's advocate, I'm like, well, you can't just pick and choose what's true for you, but you can. And you definitely
can.
should if you want to have any kind of like creative control over your life. Like, you need to pick and choose what's true for you. You just need to. And that was one of the first lessons that I learned, I guess, in manifesting, was like, oh, it is kind of like a buffet. Like, I get to pick what I want and leave the rest, because if it doesn't feel good, you don't want to do it anyway. And what works for someone else isn't going to work for you. But the main truth across the board is, yeah, exactly what you said. You don't have to subscribe to the past in all aspects just because it's your past and just because it was your experience. And yes, your subconscious will hold on to these experiences because that's how you've survived to this point, and it will use it as reference, but you do get to decide how far that reference takes you and whether or not you carry it with you into your next phase of life, or leave it where it belongs and then go forward with a clean slate, taking what was valuable and just kind of deciding from there, like where you want to go and what you want to do. Because you do get to take what you want and leave the rest. You do get to just choose what's true for you.
And here's the thing to keep in mind. The brain overgeneralizes traumatic things. So it's like, if one or two times something really good happened and then something bad
Mm-hmm.
happened right after, you're going to overgeneralize and make this rule in your mind. Every time something good happens, something bad has to happen after. Even though that's not actually true, that might have only happened once or twice. Now you're making that a belief because our brains overgeneralize these traumatic things. Or, like, let's say if you've been in one or more failed relationships, you can create this story, oh, love doesn't work out for me, it's impossible for me. And that's not true. Maybe you just need to get to the third or fourth or fifth person, but you're never going to know that if you subscribe to that belief right away, because your brain automatically overgeneralizes bad stuff in order to try to protect you.
Right. And it's doing a really good job, but again, you get to choose. So we're giving you permission to choose.
Yeah, because the brain is designed to help you survive. It's not necessarily designed to help you thrive.
Right,
Which
exactly.
is where consciousness and awareness comes in, and you can realize, oh, my brain is doing that survival thing again. Thank you so much for keeping me alive, but I'm fine and I am alive, and this is actually the direction that I would prefer to go in. And when you have awareness of what's going on in your mind and your subconscious patterns and beliefs, that's when you can have a choice point to choose differently, go in another
Mm,
direction, or build a new habit or a new thought or a new belief.
I love it.
I love
So
you.
true. Oh my God, so much love on this episode. I love it all.
Let's go into the next one, shall we?
Yes, what is the next one?
This is one of my favorite ones to debunk. I'm so excited. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, this one is one that is so popular and so easy to fall into. And this manifesting myth or trap is, I have to be positive all the time in order to manifest a good life.
Puke in my mouth.
Okay, it's easy to
Don't I
see.
have the best one-liners? They're just like gold today. I'm sorry.
It's easy to see
Ridiculous. Tell them
why.
why, Kels.
Well, it's easy to, well, first I want to validate this like belief
Yeah,
coming to being,
right.
because I realize that we pick this up because we think, oh, the better that I think and feel, the better that my life, which is like true. That's not untrue. But to think that you have to feel happy all the time, or you have to be positive, like force yourself to be positive all the time, is just impossible, because you're a human and you're not going to feel good and positive and happy all the time. So that's actually like a really cruel expectation to place on yourself, because it's not
Mm-hmm.
attainable in any world. Well, in this world where we live, not. So Being kind to yourself looks like not putting that expectation on yourself, which will also help you to release a lot of resistance when you don't feel great, which is good because what you really want in order to manifest a good life is not to be positive all the time, but is to be in a state of non-resistance more of
Yeah.
the time. And
Yeah.
non-resistance feels good no matter how you're feeling. So what I mean is, even if you feel sad or you feel angry or you feel jealous, if you're not in resistance to that emotional state, you can move through it quickly. You
Yeah.
won't feel bad about feeling bad, and you'll actually be feeling relief or moving towards relief or moving towards feeling better, which is going to help you to manifest a better life, a better mood, better circumstances. But it's when we resist how we are feeling and say, I have to think positive thoughts all the time. I'm not allowed to be scared. I'm not allowed to have negative thoughts. That is just crazy to me. Like, this is impossible.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to the first myth too, where, we came here to feel it all. So why, when we always talk about on the podcast, the power in allowing yourself to feel what you feel, because it's all trying to tell you something and it's all coming from a place of taking care of you. So that's part of it. And it's not just sometimes that you should do that, especially with manifesting. Because again, it's exhausting to try to feel good all the time. And you're only setting yourself up for failure, which will just send you into a spiral of non-manifesting, or rather manifesting what you don't want, more of what you don't want, rather than, as Kelsey said, just let yourself feel it. It'll pass quicker. You'll process it. You'll probably bring with you a really valuable lesson and the value that that feeling was supposed to give you in the first place. And that puts you in a place, as you said, of least resistance, where you can start to manifest and actually attract, because you're honoring yourself. Your energy is aligned. I mean, there's no downside to it at all.
And it depends on your definition of feeling good. Because when you think I have to feel good all the time in order to manifest a great life, if you think feeling good means happy, like happy, positive, everything's great, that's very different from feeling good could mean not resisting anything that I'm feeling. Feeling good could be
Mm,
living in a state of flow. Feeling good could be not judging however I'm feeling in that moment, you know? So when you change feeling good, the definition of it, it's still true that it helps to feel good more often in order to manifest a good life. But we don't mean to be happy or to be overly positive or to force positivity, because that's not authentic and it's not helpful. What we mean is to follow relief, to not
yeah.
judge, to release judgment, and to let energy flow in an authentic way. And you're going to feel better over time and in that moment by doing that. And that's ultimately going to help you to be a really, really fucking like powerful manifester.
And there's the F-bomb.
There it is,
Right on
folks.
schedule. The F train's rolling in right on schedule. Oh, I love it.
There was
I
one
love
other
these
thing
myths.
that I
These are
wanted to
good.
say, but I forgot what it was. Crap.
I'm sure it'll come back.
I hope it does. If it doesn't in this episode, I know it will come out in another time
Yeah.
because it needs to be said. Maybe it'll come to me in a minute. Let's move on to the next one. So the next manifesting myth: life would be better, I would feel better if I got everything I ever wanted right when I wanted it.
Yeah. So this one I was kind of waiting for, because this is a very, very common one of just like, okay, I set the intention. Where's my shit? Like, where is it? This is an interesting one. Why is that BS, Kels?
Well, one, I want you to role play here. If you really did get everything you wanted all at once, right when you
Mhm.
wanted it, it would probably feel good for like 5 minutes. Be really excited. Cool, I got this car, I got this house, I got this lover, I got this thing, I got this. And then you'd have an existential crisis right after and be like, what the fuck do I do with my life now? I've achieved it
Yeah.
all. I have it all. And now there's nothing left to work towards, to
Right.
work on, to dream about, to think about, to move in the direction of. Like, now there's just nothing, because
There's no journey to enjoy.
yeah, and the desire is half the fun, and the desire is what creates growth in yourself and in the universe. So desire is never going to end. no matter if you get everything you ever wanted right now, let's say it all shows up at your doorstep, 5 minutes later, you're going to find something else to want, something new to want, something different to want. That's natural and normal. And honestly, desire is good. So trying to get away from your desire or end your desire is, to me, completely ridiculous. And to think that you'll feel better once you have everything that you want, you're gonna feel bored, honestly,
Yeah.
if you get it all exactly when you want it. And there's a reason why there's a lag time between setting the intention and receiving the thing. It's that lag time that creates the satisfaction. It's that lag time that creates the growth where you become the person who can successfully receive that manifestation and take care of it and love it and enjoy it and really take it in. Because if you just get everything you want right when you want it, it's actually just not as fun as it sounds.
Well, true. And I'm also going to say too that this is why the universe is so freaking perfect and everything created is just amazing. Okay. Um because thank God there is a lag time. Thank God there is a little moment between the intention or the energy, let's just say the energy output, right? Cuz if you're attracting what you want, you're also attracting what you don't want. So when that happens, you have time to redirect the thoughts, redirect the energy so that what you're attracting is actually intentional. If we just got what our energy was attracting all the time, right then and there, I mean, we can all finish that thought. It would be terrible to have everything you don't want manifest. Like, let's say you're having a bad day and your energy is just completely out of whack and you manifested what your energy was attracting in that moment. It would be awful. Like, it would be awful.
Right.
So thank goodness there's a waiting period, because then you're able to be very intentional and you're able to, yeah, and to just decide what you want instead of like just what you're attracting. I mean, I cannot be more thankful that there's a waiting period. I cannot imagine what would happen. It's
And
crazy to think about.
thank you for saying that, because I remembered what I was going to say before, and
Yay.
it totally ties into exactly what you just said, which is I truly believe, and this makes sense scientifically, that positive stuff, feel good stuff, manifests more quickly because when you're thinking about it, when you're dreaming about
Yeah.
it, and the actual thing is a higher vibration, it moves more quickly,
Very powerful. Yeah.
energetically. So negative stuff actually manifests more slowly and takes longer to come to fruition, if it ever does. Because think of all the bad thoughts you have and all the
Yeah.
negative worries and anxieties, and they never come. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
one in every 100 times you worry, it actually manifests. But like, how often do the positive things manifest over the negative ones? Because I really
That's
believe
true.
that negative energy, well, I know that negative energy is more dense, it
It's
moves more
heavier.
slowly, so that gives you more time to sort it out before anything comes to fruition. So I think people get scared when they first learn about the law of attraction, because they think, oh my god, everything I think, every thought that I think, every secret in my brain is going to manifest into my reality. And it's like, no, that's not really how it works. And especially because the negative stuff takes way more time to come into fruition, so you
Mm-hmm.
have time to sort out your shit and to stop practicing those beliefs and to just give compassion to the part of you that has anxiety, instead of trying to throw it in the trash can, which also doesn't work.
Right. And I mean, yeah, you know how when you're having a bad day and just everything goes wrong, and when, let's say, you're in a bad point in your life and everywhere you look, there's like bad things because you're looking for it. But that doesn't mean that you're manifesting it in real time,
Right.
or that you've now created this negative snowball that's only going to just keep going. Like, you can stop it anytime you want. You can stop the momentum, little by little. Of course, we don't expect you to move a boulder right away, but
Right.
depending on how big it is. But yeah, you can you can slow or stop the momentum anytime you want. And it definitely doesn't mean, even though it looks like it, that you're manifesting it in real time. It just means that you are attuned to the frequency and you're seeing it. It's like when you're trying to get a new car and you see the car everywhere, that's how I equate it.
Right. What is that called in psychology? There's a word for it.
I
When
don't,
you notice one thing and then you notice
yeah,
everywhere.
I know.
I
It's on the
notice it
tip of my
everywhere.
tongue. I don't know. I can't think of it.
Anyway, the analogy that we're getting at is if you have your negative goggles on because you're in a shitty mood, of course you're going to experience everything as negative and be like, oh, of course this isn't working for me today. And of course this happened and blah, blah, blah. And then you get into your whole mood, right? That's me
Yeah.
in an annoying mood.
It's
I don't know why
Mercury
I sounded like a,
retrograde, man.
I don't know why
Everything's
I
working.
sounded like a dude all of a sudden. I guess I think dudes are negative or something, but I actually don't think that. But yeah, so what we're trying to say is like, don't be so scared, okay? Happy stuff happens much faster than
Yes, it does.
the bad, quote unquote, bad stuff, even though we're totally beyond labeling things as good and bad. But for the sake of conversation, we have to. So this makes sense. But yeah, don't worry so much about it because they manifest in different times. And
Yeah.
honestly, energy moves at different speeds. And we live in a 3D reality where things take time to materialize. That's just a part of the game. You wouldn't really want it to move any faster because I don't think our nervous systems could actually handle it because they're not built for that.
I mean, and think about all the things you thought you wanted in high school. I almost got, like, I would have so many weird tattoos.
Yeah, like imagine if you were like, oh, I want this tattoo, and then it was like, bloop, it was on your body, and then
Oh my
you'd be like,
gosh.
fuck.
I would have so many things I don't want. And I think that's another reason for it too is, you know, I was oh gosh, what was I watching? Like Dr. Phil or something when I was like a teenager. And I will never forget, I don't remember what they were talking about, but basically they said, you know, you're 20 right now. Do you want the same things at 20 that you wanted at 10? Do you think you're going to want the same things at 30 that you wanted when you were 20? And so on and so forth. Like we are evolving in every moment. And so being intentional, knowing that's why we say follow the feeling so much more than follow the thing, because that's really what you're going after. Whether joy means a Barbie when you're a kid versus, you know, a catering job when you're an adult, like, I don't know, but it will change. So as long as you're following the feeling, you really can't go wrong. And you're giving the universe the opportunity to be creative, to make it perfect, and to do its best work for you, to bring you I'll say this, to bring you what you want better than how you thought you wanted it.
Yeah, do you want it now or do you want it better?
That's right.
Yes, so be thankful for the lag time. There's a rhyme and a reason. Don't stress out so much. You're not going to make everything happen with the snap of the fingers. And also, can we just talk about your doppelganger, Kristen Bell, on The Good Place? Because I watched the season finale last night and it totally pertains to this lesson. Have you watched this?
I love The Good Place. I watched every episode.
You finished
Yeah.
the season when they were all going through the portal at the end and blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah, blah, and they finally okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
first
yeah.
of all, I like totally cried, which I'm so embarrassed to even say because this is like
I
a
can't
comedy.
believe you're just now finishing it.
Okay, well, whatever. I'm slow. So I just finished it and I was like, wow, this show is so fucking deep because of course, like in The Good Place, which is like heaven, the afterlife where everything is perfect and you get everything you want right when you want it. Everyone there was becoming miserable zombies because they were getting everything they wanted right when they wanted it and they had nothing
now
left
we don't
to do.
actually think that heaven is like this. Like that was one thing I was like, that's not. Come on, guys.
Okay, but it was funny because
but it is
illustrating how like you actually don't want that because it actually fucking sucks.
It is so perfect for this
like,
conversation.
Wow. If you guys haven't watched The Good Place, go watch it. It's hilarious and awesome. And tell me if you cry at the end so I don't feel like I'm the only one. And yeah, it totally pertains to what we're talking about because those people were not happy until they were like, hey, we're going to create this portal where you can exit the good place whenever you want
out of existence
so that you can stop existing so that you can have like a sense of mortality so that you can actually enjoy what's happening now. Because if you know it's just going to keep going on forever and ever, it's not special anymore. But what makes it special is that, oh, this is only temporary. This experience is only temporary. It's only going to last so long. And so once they reintroduced that, then everyone felt better and more excited, more alive again. And I was just like, dang.
Yeah. And I'll leave you with this on this myth. Here's the thing. As a kid, for those that celebrated holidays, or let's just go with Christmas, did you like the days leading up to Christmas more, or did you like after the presents were already unwrapped and you were like super tired and there was no more surprise and you were just kind of like winding down? Like for some reason, the anticipation of Christmas morning is so much better than after Christmas is over. It doesn't matter what you get. Still, because it's the unknown, and because you're like so excited, like, oh my God, I wonder what my parents got me. I wonder, think of the universe like that. Oh my gosh, I wonder what the universe is going to get me. I'm so excited, and just keep that feeling. And that's the fun. That's the joy, and the excitement is the surprise. I don't know.
That's a
Yeah,
great analogy. I love it. Great
I
job.
think it's appropriate. And for anybody who doesn't celebrate Christmas, think of a birthday, okay? Or, hopefully you celebrate birthdays. I don't know.
Yeah, cool.
There's
Okay, we
all
have
kinds of
one
people out
last
there.
minute.
So whatever you celebrate, you can equate it to something.
Hey there, thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to watch the extended version where you get the full podcast episode in a video format, just go to patreon.com/highvibe. The link is in the description. That's where you can become a supporter of the show, listen to all the episodes via video format, and each week you get extended versions of the show, meaning you get to see the pregame behind the scenes, and also you get an extended interview with whoever we're guesting, or if it's me and Lindsay, we usually pull cards for you guys, fun stuff like that. So go check it out. There's lots of cool goodies, including a free copy of my book, a free audio hypnosis from Lindsay. She's a hypnotherapist. And yeah, we just want to give you all the goods, all the content. So head over to patreon.com/highvibe to become a Patreon.
Or if you'd rather listen to the rest of this episode, head over to highvibeinit.com, where you'll see all the links to everywhere that it's getting streamed. Click your favorite one and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for listening.